Hi there. Welcome to the couch with Chad. This is the intimate part of the proceedings where I get to share stories with some of our awesome customers. So with that, I would very much like for you all, please, to put your hands together and welcome our customers, Mr. Mark Camilla from Paragon and Ben Evans from Landpower. Come on down, gentlemen. Now I'm going to ask them a series of random questions, completely different to what I gave them beforehand. No, not really. Not really. So, welcome to you both. I'm sorry about the bright lights. It's quite bright down here, but that's all right. We should have all worn sunglasses. We'd look cooler too. Anyway, so many people may not understand sort of both of your backgrounds and your company. So, Mark, I might start with you. If you could just give us a bit of a background to, obviously there's multiple brands you've got going on there. Yourself first, and then obviously your organisation.
Sure. So I'm COO of DC Thomson Consumer Products. We've been in this market for 10 years as Paragon Publishing, which is our main publishing brand. Previous to that, I spent some time at Moose Enterprises, and before that, for about 6 years at Fantastic. I joined Fantastic in about 2001. In those days, they were a major player in the wholesale toy business in Australia, a publicly listed company, turning over about $350 million a year. The time that I and a couple of my ex-Fantastic colleagues in the audience today were with Fantastic. So I was there for about 6 years, up till about 2010, thereabouts, then helped Moose out for a little while. Then with Paragon. So Paragon, we're a global company, head office in the United Kingdom, and we have a second brand called Wild and Wolf, which globally the business has owned for a number of years, but it's only been introduced in Australia from 1st of January this year. So we run two businesses essentially. One's the publishing business. We're Australia's largest children's publisher in terms of volume. We publish Disney, Nickelodeon, etc. The other part of the business being an upper middle market gift business called Wild and Wolf.
Excellent. Thank you, Mark. Ben, please tell us a bit about Landpower.
Hi, my name is Ben Evans. I'm application specialist at Landpower for the past 6 years. Landpower are an importer and distributor of German manufacturing agricultural equipment, tractors, hay gear, combines across Australia and New Zealand. We've recently expanded into the retail outlet, and we have a retail arm called Class Harvest Centre, which we sell exclusively just our products alongside a multi-franchise dealership network as well.
Excellent.
Much more interesting than books.
No, they're both very interesting, Mark, trust me. So thank you for that. So Ben, from your perspective, could you tell us a bit about how Landpower uses Pronto, sort of what parts of the system you use, and how Pronto has sort of worked with your business and how it shapes your business?
Yep, so Landpower have had Pronto for nearly 20 years now, mainly from our wholesale perspective. So we had wholesale business in Australia and New Zealand, very independent. A couple of years ago, we decided to combine everything into one and treat ourselves as one company. And then we brought our retail network on. We're using all the same modules in Pronto, AR, AP, purchase orders, service. We've been able to get business efficiencies through having one supply chain end-to-end process. And now we're looking at more efficiencies from other modules in Pronto.
Fantastic. And Mark, I'm going to ask you the same question. So how does Pronto work within your group?
So with Paragon, it was essentially a startup in this market when I started. So I had the advantage of having no incumbent ERP. So having come from Fantastic, it was understanding what Pronto could do for the Paragon. It was just a matter of arranging the right price with Hella. And once that was done, it was all good.
I've tried. I can't do it.
She says she talks to you about some of their deals. So for us, we use sounds very similar to Landpower in that outside of some of the service stuff, we pretty much use Pronto across the entire business. So all the standard AR, AP, GL, all of our inventory, EDI, our warehouse, we use advanced warehousing. It's a full RF warehouse, essentially paperless, all driven by Pronto, HR, AI, all that stuff. And now, since we've upgraded and gone to the cloud, we're using mobile sales. We've just introduced that to the Wild and Wolf business, and Avenue which is in beta, the beta site, is being tested in a beta version right now. That will go live in literally the next couple of next week or so. So yeah, Pronto for us essentially runs the business.
Excellent. Now, I know that you have moved into Pronto Cloud as well. So, you'd like to tell us a bit about that, sort of how that's working for you and the advantages you see, or disadvantages, whatever. Give us the real story.
It's an interesting one. I'm a commercial guy, I'm not an IT specialist. So for me, these are all my calls, and I tend to get my hands in a lot of pies. I've got my logistics manager, Paul Dutton's ex-Fantastic, so he understands all this as much as I do. And we work together in conjunction with Pronto, and we've got one or two other guys that help us out fairly regularly. So for us, it was, our Pronto server is about 4.5 years old. So 5 years ago, we had a look at it. It's always wondered, you read all about the cloud, but if you're not directly exposed to it, it's sort of a bit of a mystery thing. Certainly 4 or 5 years ago. And I just didn't think we were ready as a business, and I just wasn't 100% confident in my own mind, for rightly or wrongly, to go to the cloud. So we bought the server. Servers weren't anywhere near us. They were pretty cheap in those days as well. It was only like 10 years ago, so they were really expensive. That was all good. So then in middle of last year, we made the commercial decision to consolidate the business. I had 2 sites. I've got a mirrored backup on one site in Melbourne and the main server on another site in Melbourne. They're about to be consolidated into one physical site. Our server was 3.5, 4 years old, and during a scheduled maintenance reboot one Sunday, our core Pronto server didn't come back on as it was supposed to. So it was lots of those sort of 3 fundamental reasons put together. Decided to sit down and seriously have a look at the cloud. For me, I was never worried about upgrading. We were on 670, went from 670 straight to 730. None of that really, in the technical side of it, I had confidence that would be delivered. From a user's perspective, it was always wondered whether there'd be latency issues, dropouts. You just never know.
Of course.
And as it's turned out, all the issues have been exactly the other way around. Our performance, I was talking to Ben before, from a user perspective, the users absolutely don't notice that there's any difference in speed or latency than having a server 10 metres up the office or wherever, I don't even know where the thing's located. Certainly, if anything,
it's under my desk.
Most people perceive it's quicker. So all that sort of performance issues and all that, they've all been zero issues. They were the main issues in my head, and none of them, in reality, have turned out to be truth.
No, it's great news. Thank you, Mark.
Moving into the cloud. Yep.
Yeah, thank you. And Ben, you've had similarly, Landpower has recently had experience with Pronto Cloud. So just tell us about how that's gone for you.
Yep. So about 7 years ago, we decided to go to 670, and we had 2 individual servers, one for Australia, one for New Zealand. We decided we want them in one area. Cloud was the best solution, not just for a latency perspective, but to be able to upscale when our business grew. We knew that we were going to bring on more users, more retail outlets, more data sets, more data, big data, upgrades.
Yep.
We wanted something to scale for us. That was the best solution for us. We had looked at other solutions since, and nothing came even close. We've even expanded Pronto Cloud's offering to us, so we've got non-Pronto servers there as well because the service is so good.
No, thank you for that. And we've certainly seen more and more of that sort of happening, about consolidating various environments into Pronto Cloud. You guys since upgraded then, didn't you? I think you're on about 710 now? Or
We're on
something?
710 now,
Yeah,
so that upgrade was very seamless. So we've gone from a company that was very fearful of upgrades because we didn't have in-house support,
Of course.
to a company that if there's something a new version of Pronto, we'll happily take it. We're looking at 740 now.
Yeah, terrific. Thank you, Ben. That's a great story. So, Mark, that same sort of insight from you, I suppose I wanted to ask you about, what were your triggers to upgrade? You mentioned some already, but the advantages you see of upgrading when you did the 730 upgrade, and also what advice would you give people out in the wide world about how to run a successful upgrade project, and any tips and tricks you'd give?
So the main driver for us wasn't any actual core, to be honest, core functionality that 730 had over 670 for us. So the other way around, the main trigger for me was I needed a integrated B2B e-commerce platform and a mobile sales platform. So the woven products suited us perfectly. I had a quick short-term fix with a third-party application doing the Paragon side of the business, which works and it's all fine, but it takes human resource, and it costs to run. I can't overemphasise the benefits of being wholly integrated on this one platform. So that was the core driver for us to upgrade, that we wanted to get into the Woven environment to solve some business challenges that we were about to face, particularly with the wild and wolf side of the business. Hence, the way we went. We also took the opportunity to have a look at some of our processes and particularly our forms. And we went from the old True Forms product onto Neo. So in terms of man hours, I was talking to Paul Dutton, who works with me, about this morning. I think Neo, and he looked after Neo, I didn't. But getting that installed and using that as an excuse to modernise our forms to 2017, they weren't touched from 9 years ago, usual story for everybody, I guess. That took a phenomenal amount of man hours. It wasn't particularly technically difficult, but it just took a lot of time. I think that time took as much as what it did for our testing time and all that sort of stuff. But so it was a reason to revisit how the business is structured and to get hold of Woven. That was our main motivating factors. In terms of advice, it's an interesting one. I don't have any, I sound a little bit like Ben in the sense that we don't have any internal salaried support. All my IT is outsourced to a consultant who in the scheme of things isn't very expensive. So getting it out, putting it into the cloud, for us, it just keeps it extremely cheap and really flexible. For example, we're moving in 8-10 weeks to a custom-made new facility, consolidated. In August, when this was designed and all signed off, it had a server room. It doesn't have a server room anymore. I don't have a requirement for it. These rooms are expensive to run.
You can use the air conditioning room for the CEO now.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I double the size of my office. I just knocked it all out. So all that sort of stuff, and we're moving. Obviously, we're going to move to facilities and the rest of it. In the old days, servers and downtime and all that stuff, every day of the week, these are challenges. This is a flick of a switch. It's a non-event. So just fantastic. In terms of advice, the one thing I'd say is you need, from a customer's perspective, I think all sites, and obviously all sites are different. We're not particularly heavily customised, but we do have some stuff. In terms of a customer, not the Pronto side of things, you need one or two people, or the team. It needs to have some commercial guys on it as well as your IT. If you're a decent sized organisation, and your IT guys look after your ERP, they should drive the project, no problem at all. But you've got to have some commercial, non-technical, non-Pronto guys on it, so that you deliver what your organisation wants. Because everybody thinks it's going to be the greatest thing ever because you're upgrading all the rest of it. And if you don't deliver what they want, they lose not confidence in you, but they lose confidence in the product. So you need commercial people and you need IT people. That's the one thing I would say. Beyond that, if you're wary about upgrading and going to the cloud, all the reasons for terms of technical issues, code breakages, connectivity, all that sort of stuff, our experience is that none of that has been an issue. We've had issues, absolutely, but none in those areas where the big ticket stuff where you'd think
That's
you'd be
terrific.
problems.
And Ben, from your perspective, in terms of running successful projects internally in IT and upgrades, you'd probably concur with Mark, or do you completely disagree with everything he said?
I completely concur. Our upgrade was seamless.
Not even a little bit? Don't disagree a little bit? No, it's all right. Keep going.
I'm getting
I'm just trying to get controversy happening, so Sean, it's like Jerry Springer. I want someone to sort of punch on.
Well, like I touched on before, we've gone from being fearful for upgrades to embracing them. And our board look at Pronto every time a new version comes out and said, we want this module, we think we can get business efficiencies here. Why can't we upgrade now? And we look at it.
Yeah, terrific. Thank you.
One of the reasons, so I'll
Mark,
give you a little kick.
would you like to say something else? No, it's all
Okay.
right. Go for it.
Only, John, one
Please do.
of the reasons I say you need a commercial guy, our experience with going to the cloud and working with Pronto hosted services is that, it's not really criticism, it's not material, but your guys are IT guys. They're not commercial guys. And we're really, really quite commercial. So these aren't business critical or upgrade fundamental issues, but we've had ongoing minor, I've emphasised mine, I'm not trying to over-emphasise it.
No, we want to hear the good
conflict or misunderstanding of what matters to us in terms of particularly timeframes doesn't necessarily equate to what the PHS guys think. And so I reckon, we think, that's why I argue for the commercial guy to really try to drag along or drag some commerciality out of where you're currently structured pre-PHS, because without that, I think it's not, it's not fundamental, but it would have made the whole process more difficult if we didn't have to. We have to escalate a bit of stuff. But these are basic commercial things that we think they're not no-brainer to us, but they just don't get it. That's not because they're doing a bad job. They're technical guys, they're IT guys. We're commercial guys. So you need to try to blend that together.
Yeah, and I think that's good advice, Mark. I think it's incumbent on us as an organisation to ensure that we're backing up enough of the technical expertise, like I said, with that helicopter business view. And that's why many of our most of our Pronto consultants, for example, come from real-life industry, including me and Gary and Paul, who was a manufacturer. So I think from that perspective, that's very salient advice, and they're all learnings that we need to take on board as well as we grow as a company, because this business is growing, as I said, at a rapid pace. So I think that's all very good to hear.
And obviously, as we do, you give up some control, which is fine, but then we don't have the risks because we don't have the box.
Yes.
So there's a trade-off, and there's a little bit of, hostility is too strong a word, but you've got to find the balance between your guys controlling their environment because they've taken on a lot of responsibility, and bozos like me trying to get access to the environment.
Yes. And actually, one of the challenges we've seen, obviously, with some IT departments in various customers, and even with our own team, is you take someone's IT toys away, and you remove root access or something like that, because you're creating a secured environment, and the techos go, I used to be able to play with this and now I can't anymore. And that is much more of a policy and commercial decision than, say, a technical decision.
It's the business decision, not
correct,
the IC.
Yeah. So on that, I absolutely take your point that it's change management 101.
Hopefully you can shrink your IT department after that, you see, so it's all good.
I would never endorse that particular view. That's a commercial guy talking there. So what we like to say in public, of course, and when many of our customers actually say this to us, is that they like their IT people to focus on the proactive stuff rather than the reactive stuff. So there we go. So it's all good. Will you please thank Mark and Ben for us for what is a great time. Thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, Jeff.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Ben. Money's on the fridge. And they survived the wonky backward-facing chairs here, which could tip over at any minute. So my lovely assistants will take the chairs. Thank you very much. With that, I'd like to introduce Gary Semple, who will take you through some of our R&D and infrastructure stuff. So thank you, Gary.